we still had the same attitude, no compromise. And then he lost interest in us. Or I think we made trouble, but I can't remember really. We smoked too much, I can't remember.
Ja, und wir hatten auch Probleme mit dem Essen, mit den Speisen, den englischen Speisen.
Yes.
Ja.
Yes.
What was the problem?
Well, the food.
Es ist sehr ungewohnt für uns. Es gibt Fleisch mit Pfefferminzsoße und so. Wir wollten unseren deutschen Koch haben. Und vielleicht hat ihn das beleidigt.
Other Virgin bands were more successful. Tangerine Dream became hugely popular in the UK in 1974 after they were invited to play at Reims Cathedral in France.
Beginning of a concert, 6,000 people were in this cathedral where just 2,000 had a chance even to stand, not to sit, to stand. You can imagine how the church did look like when all the crowd went out. So that was such a disaster. And then I got a letter from the Vatican saying because of this, we are not allowed to play in a Catholic church again. Then about 3 weeks later, I got a letter from the dean of the Liverpool Cathedral in England. He heard about it and said, okay, if they don't allow you to play in any of their cathedrals, we invite you to all of our cathedrals worldwide. Coventry was great, you know. We stood in a hotel in Coventry, and I went out in the morning of the concert. At the lobby, there was a newsstand, and I saw a picture of myself. So I read the line. 40 years back, they came to bomb the place. Today, they come with synthesizers.
Eins, zwei, drei, vier.
But the band who would truly break through were Kraftwerk. By 1974, Ralph and Florian had gone totally electronic, ditching the guitar and drums and hiring other Musikarbeiter to work in their famous Kling Klang studio.
This is famous Minthopstraße here, where we are right now at the moment. This is not so interesting for normal people, but for electronic music people, they know what is Minthopstraße because the Kling Klang studio was there. So you can't see much here. It's just some steps. That was the way up through that door. And then to the left was the main entrance to the Kling Klang studio, which is only these two windows. Das war eine tolle Zeit. Germany developed more and more after the war. Everything had to be rebuilt, neu aufbauen, as they built more autobahns, and we could drive longer autobahns and longer and faster, and the engines became stronger, and the cars were more beautiful and more beautiful. Young men, which we were in between, could afford, could really buy such cars, and we took a car and went just for fun on the Autobahn. 120, 140, 150, that was fun. We opened the window and we heard or you heard the wind. And we made all of these things music.
In combining a progressive technological vision of Germany with electronic music, humour and romanticism, Kraftwerk had transcended krautrock. They didn't even look like scruffy krautrockers anymore.
Ralph and Florian became from very elegant and rich houses. They could afford to have handmade shoes. And Ralph and Florian, they rubbed their noses on the windows of shoe shops, you know, where they made for 1,000 Deutschmarks handmade shoes. We wanted to be so different from England, from America. This was why we cut our hair short. We wore elegant suits, which were made for us, you know.
The big one for me was radioactivity. I would go to sleep at night listening to Geiger counter. All it is as they manipulate the wand closer and farther from a piece of radioactive material. I went shopping once for asparagus with Florian Schneider. I met the two of them, and he suggested, he said, well, if you like, it is the asparagus season. I am going to the market to select some asparagus. Would you like to come along? And I said, yes, I would. And we had a very nice time doing that.
Wann werdet ihr so weit sein, dass durch euren Adern statt Blut Strom fließt?
Ich weiß nicht. Der Mensch hat ja sowieso Mikroströme oder so. Wenn man EKG macht, dann sieht man das ja, dass das gar nicht getrennt ist. Das ist nicht irgendwie getrennt vom Menschen oder so. Das ist ein Widerspruch in sich, Natur und Technik. Das fällt für uns irgendwie zusammen. Wir sehen das irgendwie mehr als Einheit.
Wie seht ihr euch selbst bei der Arbeit? Eher als Musiker oder als Techniker?
Wir sind Musikarbeiter. Wir nennen uns selbst Musikarbeiter.
I never felt like a Mensch-Maschine, you know. I was not a music worker. As Ralph always liked and used to explain, I always corrected him afterwards. I'm not Ralph. I don't tell that anymore, you know. I'm not a music worker. It was always fun until the end, you know. But the end is always not so fun. Because it's end, you know, it stopped.
Kraftwerk's complete artistic vision transformed them into the one truly global German band. The same could not be said of their electronic peers, such as the equally pioneering Cluster, who by the early 70s decided it was time to leave Berlin and get back to the country. Rodelius and Mobius took up residence in a 16th century hamlet in Forst in Lower Saxony, where they were joined by Neu guitarist Michael Rutter to form Harmonia.
The first Harmonia album was recorded right here. You see the room on that on that photo hanging on the wall. It's the inside.